So my name is Hannah, and I'm an undergrad at UNH. Today I'll be presenting a CloudScale characterization of remote procedure calls, which was showcased last October at the 29th SOSP. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as emphasized in the paper's introduction, modern cloud computing services are complex and widely distributed. Remote procedure calls, or RPCs, are central to these services since they enable the location-independent communication requirements of the cloud. Despite the importance and ubiquity of RPCs, there's been a lack of research characterizing their behavior at cloud scale. This study aims to fill that gap, and over the course of 2 years, it analyzed trends from RPC methods across several of Google's services, like Search, Maps, Gmail, and YouTube. The objective of this research was to provide insight into RPC usage patterns and inspire new directions for cloud system optimization. The authors highlight the importance of this knowledge in this area, since understanding RPCs is thus one key to understanding the behavior of cloud applications. The team analyzed over 10,000 RPC methods and more than 722 billion RPC samples over a 23-month period. They used tools like Monarch for metric collection, Dapper for trace analysis, and GWP for CPU profiling. Impressively, their findings challenge some of our pre-existing assumptions about RPCs. Notably, RPC usage is outpacing the provision of compute cycles in the cloud, with many RPCs operating at millisecond timescales, much longer than previously assumed. There's also significant variance in latency and size, which again underscores the complexity of optimizing RPCs in the cloud. A critical insight from the study is the role of application processing time, which was observed to dominate over average RPC latency tags. However, at the tail end, these non-processing latencies become significant. Interestingly, the P95 breakdown shows a skew toward network-induced delay, and the authors suggest this could be caused by a combination of network congestion and speed of light propagation delays, which may be limiting RPC tail performance. The study also sheds light on RPC sizes, finding that while the majority of RPCs are within a few kilobytes, there exists a heavy tail of larger RPCs that are hundreds of kilobytes. As noted by the authors, RPC size distribution can have a significant impact on system performance and network behavior. Since while the observed variation implies that the majority of RPCs are processed efficiently, all it takes are a few larger ones to increase latency and affect the overall system throughput. The paper emphasizes the relevance of these findings for tailoring optimizations to the specific characteristics of a system's network traffic. In addition to size distribution, they also looked at ratios of ingress-egress data flow and found that while the average method serves a mix of both read and write operations, the median response request size ratio is below 1. This indicates that a majority of RPCs are write dominant, but should expect both ingress and egress data flow. Managing the interference between read and write dominant RPCs should be an important priority for scheduling algorithms, and the authors specifically suggest optimizing for data locality and minimizing data movement across clusters. Another interesting aspect was the structure of RPC call trees, which were observed to be wider than they were deep. This essentially means that RPCs tended to initiate many parallel calls to other RPCs rather than a long series of sequential calls. This has significant implications for how services are designed and managed, as a wider call tree can involve more services and potentially more resource utilization, but may not have to deal with the sequential dependencies that a deep call tree might encounter due to waiting on a chain of calls to complete. RPCs are not just network heavy, they're also significant consumers of CPU cycles. In fact, the study found that RPC usage is increasing faster than compute capacity. And this reflects the increase in demand placed on the infrastructure as cloud services scale up, which the authors note can be attributed to two key trends: improved hardware optimization, which reduces CPU cost per RPC, and the rise of microservice designs, which are inherently more CPU efficient. This underscores the need for more intelligent resource allocation and scheduling to accommodate CPU variants across different methods. The study showed a direct correlation between performance and exogenous variables such as CPU load and memory bandwidth. This again indicates the importance of efficient load balancing across clusters, despite the variance in CPU cycles observed across RPCs, which makes it difficult to maintain service continuity and performance, especially as things scale. This is because effective load balancing must consider both network latency and server load, which is currently a challenge for many load balancing algorithms. The unique characteristics of RPCs at scale suggest that we may have to consider new approaches to software optimization, such as reducing the RPC latency tax, especially at the tail where it can be the majority of the RPC time. Scheduling can be improved by minimizing queuing latency, which consumes 21% of the RPC tax and is especially an issue when clients and servers are separated geographically. Another suggestion was to develop cross-layer load balancing mechanisms that consider both RPC type and system resource states to manage latency variations. Finally, the study suggests optimizing the most popular RPC methods, since the top 10 methods account for 58% of all calls, and the top 100 account for 91%. Therefore, a few service-targeted optimizations could address the most common bottlenecks, such as queuing delay for lighter services and processing time for heavier ones. Hardware accelerators could also offer significant benefits, especially in the face of Dennard scaling breakdown, which refers to the point at which reducing transistor size no longer improves performance. The study suggests accelerating essential operations like compression and encryption, as these services are often under-optimized in cloud environments. Despite the RPC library consuming only a small percentage of CPU cycles, another opportunity could be to prioritize acceleration for data-intensive applications, especially significant ones like network disk and spanner. Finally, the study suggests directing acceleration efforts towards the RPC methods with the highest CPU load for maximum cost efficiency. The authors acknowledge two main limitations of their findings. First, their data may not directly apply to all cloud systems, since it only reflects the examination of RPCs from Google's specific environment. Second, the study only considers RPCs sent over TCP, so it may not apply to RCPs based on other transport protocols like RDMA. The study points to several directions for future research. They emphasize the need to optimize millisecond-level RPCs, which is where substantial performance improvements can be made. They also highlight the importance of improving data locality to reduce latency for cross-cluster RPCs. Finally, they suggest exploring the trade-offs involved in request hedging, which is an area that could lead to more efficient cloud service operations. In conclusion, the study offers a comprehensive analysis of over 700 billion RPC samples, which has provided valuable insights that refine our current understanding of RPC operations in large-scale systems. One of the most significant findings was the accelerated growth rate of RPC usage, which they observed to be outpacing the provision of compute cycles. This underscores the importance of RPCs and the need to optimize their usage further, such as developing load balancing algorithms that reduce both latency and cycle taxes. In fact, they call for future research into both software and hardware optimizations to enhance the efficiency and performance of RPC systems at cloud scale. So that is the end of my presentation. Are there any questions?